Pardon me, I have a package for Ethan Blackwood. Emma Rodriguez's voice resonated through the marble foyer, her presence marked by the droplets cascading onto the lavish floor. The rain had thoroughly drenched her yellow courier backpack, despite her determined attempts to keep it dry. Her blue helmet remained securely fastened, dark hair clinging to her neck. Silence lingered. "Hello," she shouted once more, her voice rising in volume. She glanced at her watch, realizing it was her final delivery of the day, and she was falling behind schedule for her photography class. Delivery of packages. At last, the echo of footsteps resonated from within the depths of the mansion. Emma adjusted her stance, striving for an air of professionalism, even though she appeared quite disheveled. The man who emerged left her utterly speechless. He stood tall, his light brown hair impeccably styled, and his piercing blue eyes drew attention. Dressed in a simple light blue button-down, it was likely worth more than her entire monthly rent. Yet, it was not his evident affluence that piqued her interest. His gaze locked with hers, filled with an intensity that was impossible to ignore. "Apologies for the delay," he remarked, his tone soft and surprisingly kind. "I was engaged in a call in my office." Emma took a deep breath, suddenly conscious of her appearance. "Absolutely fine. I simply require a signature for this." She pushed the package and digital tablet ahead, momentarily averting her gaze to collect herself. As he signed, his fingers grazed hers, igniting an unforeseen spark within her. He noted your drenched state. "Would you care to step inside and warm up a bit before venturing back out there? The rain is intensifying." Emma paused, uncertainty flickering in her mind. The company's guidelines frowned upon stepping into clients' residences, yet the rumble of thunder outside rendered the proposition alluring. "I prefer not to leave any marks on your—" She indicated the pristine marble floor. "I must insist, please." He moved aside, creating a welcoming opening for her to step in. "Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Ethan." Emma Rodriguez." She entered with careful steps, taking off her helmet. "I'll remain in the entryway until the worst has subsided." In the grand foyer, she found herself standing awkwardly, her gaze drawn to a specific photograph adorning the wall. A captivating black and white depiction of Big Sur's dramatic coastline, showcasing a masterful interplay of light and shadow in its composition. "That's astonishing," she whispered, briefly losing track of her surroundings. Ethan turned his attention to where she was looking, a gentle warmth spreading across his face. "You're familiar with Big Sur." "I have an eye for good photography," Emma said, a flush creeping across her cheeks at her own audacity. "Apologies. I'm currently immersed in my photography studies at City College. It's hard to overlook excellent work." A shift occurred in Ethan's demeanor. The courteous, slightly detached demeanor transformed into authentic curiosity. "Your perception is impressive. That was the work of my grandfather. He enjoyed quite a reputation during his time." Emma's eyes grew large with surprise. "Hold on. Blackwood, your grandfather was William Blackwood?" "The William Blackwood?" Her voice soared with enthusiasm. "Last year's retrospective at SF MoMA was transformative. I visited 3 times. Ethan regarded her with a fresh sense of admiration, visibly taken aback by her depth of understanding. Many individuals simply remark on how lovely it appears above the fireplace. "Are you serious?" The innovative application of natural light transformed the scene, while the ability to convey deep human emotion through mere environments, subtly marked by human presence, was truly remarkable. Her voice faded, a wave of self-awareness washing over her enthusiasm. "I apologize if I tend to go overboard at times." "No need to apologize," Ethan said, stepping closer. "It's invigorating to encounter an individual who values his craft beyond mere commercial worth." A heavy silence enveloped them, brimming with an unidentifiable tension that lingered in the air. "Do you prefer shooting with film or digital?" Suddenly, Ethan inquired. "I enjoy both, but I have a preference for film. The journey holds a certain allure, the anticipation, the alchemy of creation, and the mystery of discovering what you've truly captured in time." Emma took a moment to reflect. "So, you also capture images?" Ethan averted his gaze. There was a time long ago, before I became entangled in the family enterprise. He waved his hand in a sweeping motion, indicating the grandeur of the mansion. The rain pounded relentlessly against the windows, enveloping them in a cocoon of sound within the expansive entrance hall. Ethan mentioned that he has a few of his original prints displayed in his study, as if he were coming to a conclusion. How about we take a look at them together, perhaps over a nice cup of coffee to keep us cozy? Emma was aware that she ought to refuse. This was Ethan Blackwood, the tech mogul whose visage sporadically adorned the covers of business publications. She was merely a bike courier, armed with an arts degree and burdened by increasing student debt. They inhabited separate realms, yet the way he gazed at her, beyond her drenched attire or disheveled hair, stopped her in her tracks. "I'd like that," she said at last, "but I only have 20 minutes before my class." "I assure you, it will be rewarding," Ethan declared, guiding her further into the depths of the mansion. As they strolled, an unexplainable sensation enveloped them, suggesting that this unexpected meeting could mark the start of something neither had sought, yet both instinctively craved. The coffee had grown cold, yet Emma and Ethan appeared oblivious to it. What was intended as a brief 20-minute tribute to William Blackwood's photography had evolved into a lively 2-hour discussion. "Hold on, are you saying you've never visited the Camera Obscura at Cliff House?" Emma inquired, her disbelief evident. "And you consider yourself a photographer from San Francisco?" Ethan chuckled, tousling his impeccably arranged hair. "In my defense, I've been a bit occupied establishing a cybersecurity company for the last 5 years. Excuses, excuses," Emma playfully chided, taken aback by the ease she felt around him. "It's essentially a journey through the history of photography right at our doorstep." She checked her watch and sprang to her feet. "Oh no, I totally overlooked my class." She took hold of her jacket, still damp to the touch. "I ought to take my leave. Thank you for the delightful coffee and the exclusive tour of the gallery. Those prints are truly remarkable." "Allow me to take you home," Ethan suggested. "The rain continues to fall heavily outside." "Absolutely not, I have my bicycle. Moreover, I frequently ride in the rain." Ethan gazed out the window at the relentless rain, then turned to Emma, worry etched on his face. "Please allow me the opportunity to arrange a car for you."
"Honestly, I'm okay."
She snatched her helmet, pausing for a moment. "Perhaps I could take you to see the Camera Obscura at some point. Thank you for the coffee and the insightful Blackwood masterclass." The words slipped out before she had the chance to ponder their meaning. In that instant, warmth spread across her cheeks. Ethan's grin grew broader. "I would appreciate that." 3 days later, a delivery request arrived, specifically seeking Emma's attention. The location felt known: the Blackwood mansion. Upon her arrival, Ethan stood ready with yet another package that required delivery. "This is absurd," Emma chuckled, glancing at the tiny envelope. "This could have easily been sent with a stamp in the mail. Yet, that would have deprived me of a reason to meet you once more," Ethan responded, his candor surprising her. "Do you have any availability on Saturday?" "Regarding the Camera Obscura tour you assured me about." That Saturday blossomed into a series of weekly escapades. Emma revealed to Ethan the secret treasures of San Francisco. Community gardens nestled between buildings, rooftop vistas reached only by fire escapes, and charming little eateries serving the finest cuisine in the city. "I can't believe I've spent my whole life here and never discovered this spot," Ethan remarked, while they enjoyed tacos from a truck stationed under a freeway overpass. The meal was presented on disposable plates as they perched on a concrete ledge, observing the vibrant rhythm of the city surrounding them. "That's because you've been ensconced in your Pacific Heights bubble," Emma remarked, dabbing salsa from her chin. "The true essence of the city unfolds in this place." Ethan revealed to Emma hidden gems she could never reach alone. A secluded beach reserved for an elite club, breathtaking views from hilltops within gated enclaves, and art galleries that demanded membership for entry. "It feels like we're pulling off a heist," Emma whispered, as they quietly entered a private exhibition at an ultra-exclusive gallery, "as if anyone would notice that I don't fit in and send me packing." Ethan grasped her hand tightly. Emma, you have the freedom to find your place wherever you desire. At home, Maya observed the shifts in her roommate with increasing unease. So, it's been about a month since you've been seeing him, right? Maya inquired while Emma prepared for yet another adventure with Ethan. Has he extended an invitation for you to meet any of his friends or family? It's not that way, Emma insisted, though she struggled to articulate what she meant. We're simply companions united by our passion for photography. Maya countered. Friends don't gaze at each other the way he gazes at you in those pictures you shared with me. I simply wish to protect you from any pain when he recalls where he truly belongs. At the same time, Ethan found himself undergoing his own questioning. His mother showed up unexpectedly at his house, seemingly to deliver invitations to a charity gala. Your assistant mentioned that you've been turning down social events recently, Victoria said, her tone light, yet her gaze piercing. Photography projects can be quite time-consuming. Ethan replied thoughtfully, I've been reconnecting with my grandfather's passion. I hear you're a bike courier. Victoria's tone was as chilling as ice. Honestly, Ethan, if you're going through a tough time after the company sale, there are far better ways to cope than mingling with delivery girls. Ethan's jaw clenched. Emma is a skilled photographer who takes on the task of delivering packages to make ends meet. My personal life is not subject to anyone else's judgment. Mother. Victoria let out a deep, theatrical sigh. My dear, I simply have some worries. Rebecca Walsh has been inquiring about your well-being. Her father's investment firm could serve as an ideal collaborator for your upcoming project. I have no interest in Rebecca. Absolutely not. You're finding your love for photography again, Victoria said, making air quotes. Always keep in mind your true self, Ethan. The Blackwoods keep their distance from the staff. Once she departed, Ethan lingered by the window, observing the sunset bathe the city in a warm, golden glow. Out in the world, Emma was likely immortalizing the moment on camera. In spite of the cautions issued from either side, their bond grew stronger. They started working together on photo projects, their unique viewpoints blending to produce a result neither could accomplish on their own. One evening, as they worked on editing photos at his place, Ethan mentioned that his grandfather's retrospective was set to open next week. Would you accompany me? It's a significant event in the realm of creativity. And he paused, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. I would appreciate your presence. Emma lifted her gaze from the laptop, taken aback. This was not one of their typical escapades. This was Ethan extending an invitation to her, welcoming her into his realm, complete with its inherent expectations and judgments. Do you really think so? It seems quite sophisticated. Without a doubt, Ethan responded, grasping her hand. It's time for my world to witness the beauty I see in you. What he left unsaid was the deepening realization that he was falling for her, along with the daunting fear that their lives might be too divergent to reconcile. Emma gazed into the full-length mirror, struggling to identify the person staring back at her. The navy blue dress she had purchased with 2 weeks of courier tips fit her silhouette flawlessly, exuding an air of elegance while remaining beautifully understated. She indulged in a professional hair styling session and borrowed a stunning pair of silver earrings from Meyer to perfect her appearance. Wow, Meyer murmured from the threshold. You seem to embody the essence of a sophisticated art gallery. Emma felt a tumult of anxiety swirling in her stomach. Do you believe it's excessive? Insufficient? Perhaps I ought to. Cease. Meyer moved across the room, gently resting her hands on Emma's shoulders. You look absolutely stunning, and if Ethan fails to recognize that, he's clearly missing something important. It wasn't solely about Ethan, Emma maintained, even though they both understood the truth beneath her words. William Blackwood is a renowned figure in the world of photography. Attending his retrospective holds significant importance for me in my career. Meyer arched an eyebrow. Of course. And the notion that you'll be accompanying his stunning millionaire grandson has absolutely no influence on the matter. We're merely friends, Emma replied instinctively. Even as the words grew more and more empty, the doorbell chimed, sending Emma's heart racing into her throat. Ethan stood at the door, exuding an air of striking elegance in a perfectly fitted charcoal suit. His eyes grew large at the sight of Emma. Wow, he exhaled. You appear absolutely stunning. So do you, she said, a sudden shyness enveloping her. Quite distinct from your typical coffee and photography session vibe. The journey to the gallery in Ethan's stylish Tesla was marked by engaging dialogue about William Blackwood's impact on contemporary photography. As they neared the venue, Emma became quiet. Ethan, feeling a flutter of anxiety, stole a glance at her. She conceded just a bit. This is my first experience with such elegance. Keep in mind, your understanding of my grandfather's work surpasses that of many attendees. He grasped her hand tightly. You have a rightful place here, Emma. The gallery shimmered with brilliance, teeming with the city's most distinguished figures. Women adorned in exquisite jewelry and men clad in tailored suits socialized. Glasses of champagne held aloft. Emma tightened her hold on Ethan's arm. A silver-haired man named Ethan approached, giving him a friendly clap on the shoulder. The gallery director was inquiring about your whereabouts. The lighting in the Yosemite series is truly captivating. Ethan smiled at James. Allow me to introduce you to Emma Rodriguez. Emma, allow me to introduce you to James Wilson, my dearest friend and trusted business associate. James's eyes glimmered with curiosity as he grasped Emma's hand. Ah, so you must be the renowned Emma. Ethan has been raving about you for weeks on end. Emma felt a warm flush spread across her cheeks. I trust everything is well. Only accolades for your keen sense of composition and light, James affirmed with a playful wink. By the way, Ethan remarked, what are your thoughts on the exhibition up to this point? Emma felt at ease as she shared her insights about the photographs, highlighting nuances that others might overlook. She thrived in the moment, passionately discussing the work, drawing the attention of several nearby who paused to absorb her thoughtful observations. Ethan said with a hint of reluctance, I need to address that lighting issue, after they had explored half the gallery. Are you going to be all right for a little while? James is available to make introductions for you. I'll be all right, Emma reassured him. Go fulfill your responsibilities as a grandson. As Ethan departed, James found himself swiftly engaged in dialogue with a prospective investor. Emma strolled through the gallery, relishing the opportunity to immerse herself in the photographs, free from any interruptions. As she examined a particularly captivating image, a flawlessly groomed hand emerged in her peripheral vision, extending a champagne flute toward her. After all that insightful discussion, you must be feeling quite parched. Emma turned to encounter an elegant older woman whose icy blue eyes, reminiscent of Ethan's yet devoid of warmth, scrutinized her with unyielding intensity. I'm Victoria Blackwood, the woman declared, Ethan's mother. Emma felt a parched sensation in her throat. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Blackwood. I'm Emma Rodriguez. Absolutely. Victoria's smile was devoid of warmth. It seems you have a good understanding of my father-in-law's contributions in the realm of delivery services. The brief hesitation before the delivery person spoke gave the impression of an insult. Emma explained that she studies photography at City College, making an effort to maintain a steady voice. How charming. Victoria savored a purposeful sip of champagne. So, is that the way you came to know my son? Are you making a delivery? Emma nodded, her discomfort growing with each passing moment. Your son has been exceptionally gracious, sharing with me some of Mr. Blackwood's original prints. I'm certain he has. Victoria's voice became smooth and alluring. Ethan has always been drawn to assisting those in need. It's one of his more charming traits. Emma sensed a flush of warmth spread across her cheeks. We share a bond of friendship. We have a mutual passion for photography. Victoria chuckled softly. My dear, Ethan lacks female companions. He possesses fitting romantic opportunities from respectable families, and he has distractions. The suggestion lingered in the atmosphere surrounding them. He will grow weary of this lowly existence in due time, Victoria continued, her voice now scarcely above a whisper. He consistently does. The Blackwood name carries a weight of expectations that a young courier girl with a community college education cannot possibly meet. Emma felt as if she had been struck hard. All the doubts she had buried deep within her surged forth. Victoria had validated her deepest anxieties. She was merely a fleeting distraction, a brief escape from Ethan's true existence. "If you'll excuse me," Emma said, setting her untouched champagne down on a nearby table. "I require a breath of fresh air." She navigated the throng in a haze, her sole desire to flee before Ethan reappeared and witnessed her in this state, embarrassed and acutely conscious of her profound sense of alienation. Outside, she inhaled the crisp night air, desperately fighting back tears. A taxi drew near, and without a moment's hesitation, Emma signaled for it and stepped inside. As the taxi drove off, she noticed Ethan through the gallery windows, his brow furrowed as he searched the crowd with a look of confusion. Her phone vibrated with his message. "Where might you be? Is everything all right?" She switched off her phone and gazed out the window, watching as the shimmering mansions of San Francisco faded into the familiarity of her more humble neighborhood. Maya's eyes widened in astonishment as Emma entered the room, arriving much earlier than she had anticipated. "What transpired?" she inquired, observing the redness around Emma's eyes. "You were right," Emma said gently. "I feel out of place in his world, and it was foolish of me to believe differently." She slipped off her heels and made her way to her bedroom, leaving a bewildered and worried Maya behind her. The dress that had once made her feel radiant just hours earlier now seemed like a costume from a forgotten play, where she had lost all her lines. 3 weeks had gone by since the gallery disaster, and Emma had yet to reply to any of Ethan's calls or texts. Initially, they arrived often, filled with concern, then shifted to confusion, and ultimately felt pain. Now a hush descends. Emma gazed at her phone screen, her thumb poised above his final message. "I'm unsure about the circumstances, yet I honor your choice. I simply long to understand where I went astray." She whispered to the empty room. "You didn't do anything." A mysterious grant appeared 2 days following the gallery incident, offering $15,000 for emerging photography talent from an anonymous benefactor. The timing raised eyebrows, yet Emma found herself unable to decline the offer. She left her courier job and dove into photography, seizing striking images that reveal the divisions within the city. Fences, walls, and boundaries both tangible and suggested. Maya peeked into Emma's improvised darkroom, which used to be their shared bathroom. "You've got mail," she said, waving an envelope from the Hayes Valley Gallery. Emma seized it and ripped it apart. Her heart raced with every word she absorbed. "They want to showcase my work, my very first genuine exhibition," Maya exclaimed with delight and embraced her. "I always believed you had it in you. When will you show it?" "In 3 weeks' time." Emma's smile wavered. "Do you believe he will show up?" Maya felt no need to inquire about his identity. "Is it significant? This is your time to shine, not his." Emma nodded, yet within her, she understood it truly mattered. Every photograph she had captured since that night at the gallery seemed to resonate with a hint of Ethan, reflecting what she longed to reveal to him, the places they had explored, and the viewpoints they had exchanged. In a quiet corner of the city, Ethan found himself in his home office, gazing intently at the array of photographs laid out before him on the desk. Since Emma vanished from his life, he had been capturing images with an obsessive fervor, seeking to preserve the essence of their shared moments. A sudden knock broke the silence of his contemplation. "Are you still stuck in that place?" James stepped in uninvited. "Your appearance is quite concerning." "Thank you." Ethan kept his gaze fixed downward. "What is it that you desire?" "To understand why you're allowing the most incredible opportunity in your life to fade away without putting up a struggle." James lifted a photo from the pile, capturing Emma's laughter, with sunlight framing her hair in a radiant glow. "Have you truly made an effort to seek her out?" "She has made her decision," Ethan stated without emotion. "She departed in silence, cutting off all communication. And you, the brilliant tech entrepreneur who created cybersecurity software, couldn't determine where she resides?" James arched an eyebrow. "The Ethan I know would never surrender so readily." Ethan struck the desk with his hand. "I am honoring her limits. It's evident that she has no desire to meet with me." Or perhaps, James suggested thoughtfully, There was an event that evening that remains unknown to you. Ethan's gaze snapped upward. What do you mean? I'm uncertain. However, I noticed you engaged in conversation with the gallery director for a good half hour. So much can unfold in just half an hour. The notion lingered in Ethan's mind, persistently tugging at him in the days that followed. At last, he arrived at the courier service where Emma had been employed, only to discover that she had left weeks prior. The manager, having identified him from Emma's accounts, hesitantly provided her photography Instagram handle. What Ethan witnessed there left him in awe. Striking visuals of city separation, each accompanied by exhibition information at Hayes Valley Gallery. Emma was about to experience her inaugural performance. On opening night, Emma anxiously rearranged one of her framed photographs. The intimate gallery started to come alive with the presence of local art enthusiasts and acquaintances. Take a deep breath, Maya murmured, offering her a glass of wine. Emma nodded, her eyes sweeping the room once more, clearly impressed by the remarkable work on display. In spite of all her attempts, she continued to search for Ethan. He is not coming, she reassured herself with conviction. And that's perfectly acceptable. Then she noticed a recognizable figure by the entrance, not Ethan, but James Wilson, looking at her photographs with sincere curiosity. What brings you here? She inquired as she approached him. He responded effortlessly, backing an extraordinary up-and-coming talent. These are truly impressive, Emma. She expressed her gratitude, yet found herself unable to refrain from inquiring, did Ethan send you? Ethan remains unaware of my presence. James' demeanor shifted to one of gravity. He has been in a state of despair ever since you vanished that evening. He hasn't attended a single social gathering and rarely steps outside, except to capture images. Emma experienced a twinge of remorse, yet steeled herself against it. I'm certain his mother is orchestrating suitable romantic opportunities to lift his spirits. Oh, James' eyes grew large with realization. You encountered Victoria. She was quite explicit about my position in Ethan's life. Emma took a deep breath, a fleeting escape as he mingled with the everyday folk. James muttered a string of curses quietly to himself. And you trusted her words. What would stop me? All her words resonated with clarity and understanding. Our backgrounds are worlds apart. If you had just stayed for 5 more minutes, you would have witnessed Ethan confront Victoria in front of half of San Francisco's elite when he discovered what she had done. James gave a slight shake of his head. He expressed to her that if she couldn't honor his decisions and the individuals who are important to him, she had no place in his life. Emma's glass almost tumbled from her grasp. What did he do? Since the moment you arrived, leaving droplets of rain on his polished marble floor, that man has been captivated by you. James maintained a firm connection with her eyes. And do you realize what else? Have you heard about that anonymous grant you received? Who do you believe was responsible for that outcome? Emma's universe shifted dramatically. Did Ethan send the grant money? What could possibly be the reason for him not to share that with me? He chose not to leverage his name or wealth to shape your career. He had faith in your abilities and wished for you to thrive in your own way. James wore a wistful smile. Underneath that millionaire facade, he reveals a surprisingly thoughtful nature. Emma sensed the sting of tears welling up in her eyes. Where is he at this moment? Alaska. Departed last week for a secluded photography adventure. Perhaps that's his method for mending a shattered heart. James glanced at his watch. Yesterday, his flight touched down in Anchorage. The gallery whirled around Emma, reshaping everything she believed she understood. I must locate him, she murmured. I had a feeling you would respond that way. James retrieved an envelope from the depths of his jacket pocket. This is why I took the initiative to compile some details regarding his schedule. The inquiry stands, Emma Rodriguez. Are you prepared to venture as deeply for love as you do for your craft in photography? Emma grasped the envelope with quivering hands. The exhibition, the result of countless hours of dedication, unfolded around her. Yet her thoughts were already charting the expanse from San Francisco to Alaska, from her reality to Ethan's, and for the first time, she discovered that the voyage felt attainable. Thank you, she murmured, holding the envelope close to her heart. In every situation, James wore a smile. Simply bring him joy, won't you? His misery makes him unbearable. While the gallery attendees marveled at her striking photographs depicting divisions and boundaries, Emma found herself contemplating a more profound challenge, the one forged by her own fears. The little propeller plane shook and trembled as it made its way down toward the quaint Alaskan town. Emma clutched the armrests, doubting her sanity for the umpteenth time since departing San Francisco 3 days prior. The success of her exhibition now seemed a distant memory, overshadowed by the nervous energy surging through her veins. As I embarked on my inaugural journey to Alaska, the pilot's upbeat voice resonated through the headset, filling the cabin with a sense of excitement. So it's that clear, is it? Emma offered a faint smile. Most people don't grip the armrests tightly on clear days, he chuckled. We're about to touch down in 5. Palmer may not be grand, but it certainly has spirit. Emma had traced James's clues like a trail of breadcrumbs. A flight to Anchorage, then a bus to Palmer, where Ethan had secured a cabin as his headquarters for capturing the beauty of the surrounding wilderness. The expedition had drained nearly all of her exhibition profits, yet retreat was not an option at this point. The modest terminal resembled little more than a rustic wooden shack. Emma dragged her quickly thrown-together suitcase over the rough gravel of the lot toward the lone cab waiting in the town. Riverside Cabins, she instructed the driver, glancing at the address James had provided. Are you going to see someone? The driver inquired, a glint of curiosity reflecting in the rearview mirror. I hope so, Emma replied, her gaze fixed on the expansive Alaskan scenery. The mountains towered in every direction, rendering San Francisco a distant memory. The cabins dotted the landscape beside a shimmering river, each exuding a sense of seclusion and charm. The manager indicated Cabin 7, a knowing smile playing on their lips. The photographer guy. I spent a week here. Rarely experiences the sun, constantly capturing moments during the early morning or late evening. Will return shortly. Dimmed illumination. Emma expressed her gratitude and made her way up the path to wait on Ethan's porch, her resolve wavering with every step she took. What if James made a mistake? What if Ethan chose not to meet her? Perched on the wooden steps, she held her camera, instinctively composing images of the river to soothe her anxious spirit. The waning afternoon sun stretched shadows over the water, producing a striking contrast that would delight any photographer. Through her viewfinder, a figure emerged in the distance, tall, with a familiar camera bag casually draped over one shoulder. Emma lowered her camera, her heart racing wildly within her chest. Ethan ambled along, his mind adrift in contemplation, his beard a testament to a week spent in the wild. It wasn't until he had ascended halfway up the path that he finally noticed her. Upon catching sight of her, he became utterly still. His camera bag fell from his shoulder, landing on the ground with a thud that went unnoticed by either of them. Is that you, Emma? His voice faltered when he spoke her name, as though he had uttered it too often in her absence. She stood there, a wave of uncertainty washing over her as she grappled with what to do with her hands. Hello, unfamiliar face. For a brief instant, neither made a sound. Then Ethan swiftly closed the gap between them with purposeful strides. What do you represent? How did you manage that? He struggled to articulate a coherent idea. Up close, she noticed the shadows beneath his eyes and the unkempt hair that had clearly been neglected for weeks. James, she said plainly, he attended my exhibition. Your exhibition? Ethan repeated. What was your experience like? Emma couldn't help but laugh, even against her better judgment. I traveled all the way to Alaska in search of you, and that's the first thing you want to ask. A smile flickered at the edge of his lips, a keen interest in the intricacies of one's field. It was enjoyable. 3 pieces were sold. She inhaled deeply, yet there was an absence that lingered. Excuse me? Me. The delicate confession lingered in the air, as fragile as a soap bubble. What made you depart that evening? Ethan inquired, his voice a mere whisper against the backdrop of the flowing river. Your mother made it evident that I was merely a fleeting diversion, someone you were indulging in until you went back to your true existence. Emma's words flowed more rapidly now, and it all clicked. Ethan, what could possibly draw someone like you to someone like me, aside from mere novelty? Is there anyone out there like me? Ethan moved in, fury igniting in his gaze. Are you referring to someone who has wealth but lacks direction? Am I really just that to you? No, Emma objected. That's not, because you mean so much more to me, Emma. You have always been more than just a fleeting interest or a mere diversion. His voice took on a gentler quality. You have been the most genuine presence in my life. Emma struggled to hold back the tears that threatened to spill over. James shared with me what you did. The funding opportunity. Confronting your mother. Why didn't you share that with me? Would you have accepted the grant had you known it was from me? Ethan took on the challenge. Emma averted her gaze. Most likely not. And that is the reason. He exhaled deeply, raking his fingers through his hair. I aim to assist without imposing any sense of obligation or indebtedness on you. Your skill merits acknowledgement, no matter the nature of our connection. The sky started to deepen into twilight, with stars emerging gradually, each one a tiny beacon in the vastness above. A subtle green luminescence flickered along the northern skyline. Northern lights, Ethan whispered, his professional instincts taking over. It's time to grab our cameras. The prediction indicated that they could be seen this evening. Emma chuckled, the atmosphere lightening. It's been weeks since we last met. And now you want to capture some moments? No, Ethan replied with a serious tone. I would love to capture some moments with you. A distinction exists. With their equipment in hand, Ethan guided her to a serene clearing beside the river. As they positioned their tripods next to each other, the well-practiced ritual of fine-tuning settings and exchanging thoughts on composition connected them in a way that surpassed mere conversation. The aurora intensified, vibrant green ribbons swirling gracefully through the dark expanse of the night sky. Emma inhaled sharply at the sight, instinctively hitting her shutter release. It's astonishing, she murmured. Unlike anything I've ever encountered. That was the feeling I had the day you appeared at my door, Ethan murmured softly, his gaze fixed on her rather than the camera, as if a remarkable force had just entered my existence. Emma pivoted to meet his gaze, the northern lights casting an otherworldly radiance upon his face. I was scared, she confessed, not only of your world, but also of the feelings I had for you. It was simpler to trust your mother than to face the possibility that she might be correct. Ethan remarked that his mother perceives the world with a limited perspective. I once felt the same way, until a drenched courier with a yellow backpack opened my eyes to different perspectives. He grasped her icy hands within his own. Our differing backgrounds don't concern me, Emma. My perspective on the world shifts when I'm with you, becoming clearer and more genuine, regardless of whether there's a lens involved. The aurora danced above, casting a mesmerizing glow of green and blue upon them. Emma stood on her tiptoes and kissed him, experiencing a rush as months of uncertainty and distance vanished in a heartbeat. He enveloped her in his embrace, clinging to her as though he feared she would vanish once more. As they finally separated, Ethan leaned his forehead gently against hers. What comes next? He inquired, his breath forming a mist in the frigid night air. Now we return to San Francisco, Emma declared with conviction, united, and we will discover how to align our worlds. And if they don't align, then we will forge our own path. She beamed, her eyes flickering up at the twinkling lights. I sense that we excel at crafting exquisite creations in unison. With their cameras left to capture the mesmerizing aurora above, Emma and Ethan embarked on a journey to envision a new world, one where limits were merely challenges to overcome and separations were opportunities for reconciliation. This feels impossible for me. Emma gazed intently at the mounting board, her hands quivering as she struggled to position the photograph just right. It's askew. All is askew. Half a year had gone by since Alaska. Now standing in the esteemed Montgomery Gallery, enveloped by the results of their partnership, Emma's anxiety had ultimately overwhelmed her. Allow me to assist you. Ethan carefully accepted the mounting board from her trembling hands. Take a moment to breathe deeply, Recall that? Simple for you to express. Emma muttered that she had grown up in galleries, yet she heeded his advice. The exhibition, Boundaries Crossed, was set to open in 3 hours. For months, they toiled together, seizing moments that contrasted San Francisco's sharply divided realms, affluence and destitution, inclusion and isolation, connection and estrangement. Every photograph intertwined Ethan's privileged viewpoint with Emma's ground-level insight on the same subject, fostering a compelling conversation about perception and reality. Emma fretted as she moved to adjust a spotlight, feeling that the lighting on the waterfront series was still off. Emma Rodriguez. Ethan grasped her arm, pivoting her to meet his gaze. The performance is flawless. The illumination is just right. You are flawless. What if no one understands it? She murmured, revealing her most profound dread. What if they merely perceive it as a wealthy individual's self-indulgent endeavor alongside his photographer partner? Ethan's expression became gentler. In that case, they aren't truly paying attention. And besides, when has Emma Rodriguez ever been concerned about others' opinions? She couldn't help but smile, even against her better judgment. Ever since her creations began to grace the walls of galleries, adorned with 5-figure price tags. That's a valid observation. Ethan cast a quick look at his watch. We have a couple of hours before we must return. It's time for us to leave this place. Let's clear our minds. They strolled to a nearby park, the very place where they had captured some of their initial collaborative photos after their return from Alaska. The last half year had been a careful dance, with Emma nurturing her professional journey, while Ethan unearthed his love for photography once more. They had encountered numerous challenges, ranging from Victoria's ongoing disapproval to the doubts cast by the art community. Yet, there was an element to their collaboration that appeared to challenge all assumptions. Do you recall what you shared with me during our initial genuine outing? Ethan inquired while they perched on a bench with a view of the bay. Emma reflected on the past. Your coffee was excessively priced and rather ostentatious? He chuckled softly. No, following that. You mentioned that boundaries are meant to be transcended. That seems oddly insightful for someone aiming to win over a wealthy individual. Emma gave him a gentle nudge, her playful spirit shining through. Your lack of effort to impress me is precisely what made it successful. Ethan grasped her hand gently. I have something to share with you. We must stay focused, Ethan. The exhibition space. Have faith in me. He guided her to his car, and 20 minutes later they arrived at a quaint Victorian nestled in a neighborhood on the brink of transformation. Not exactly in vogue. Not exactly coarse. What is our purpose in this place? Emma inquired as Ethan revealed a key. I bought it, he said simply, unlocking the door. Indeed, the structure. There are 3 units. 1 for us if you're interested, and 2 that could be transformed into creative studios. Emma remained motionless on the sidewalk. You purchased a building without informing me? Ethan clarified that he made an offer, subject to your approval. It's neither the grand estate nor your cozy place with Maya. It's an intriguing development. Emma stepped inside, absorbing the character of the aged hardwood floors, the expansive windows that welcomed a cascade of light, and the promise held in each incomplete nook. It requires some refinement. Ethan persisted, anxiously observing her reaction. Yet I envisioned it as our special spot. This isn't your realm or mine. Ours. Emma strolled thoughtfully through the rooms, envisioning the potential that lay ahead. A shadowy corner here, a cozy nook there, space to expand and craft in unison. When did you come across this? At last, she inquired. 3 weeks prior. I had planned to surprise you after the exhibition, but he ran a hand through his hair. I wanted to take a moment to remind you of the vision we're creating, extending beyond the show itself. Emma's fingers grazed the walls, basking in the gentle embrace of the afternoon sunlight. I'm absolutely enamored with it. Returning to the gallery, attendees started to filter in art critics, collectors, and friends from various circles. Maya arrived with a tray of delightful pastries from the bakery where she was employed. James captivated potential buyers with tales of how the collaboration took shape. And then Victoria Blackwood made her entrance. Emma noticed her first, graceful as ever, scrutinizing the photographs with a discerning gaze. Ethan's body tightened next to her. He whispered, "I didn't invite her." Emma confessed that she did. Every individual deserves the opportunity to transcend limits. Victoria walked towards them, her face a mask of mystery. "The arrangement in the Market Street series is truly impressive," she remarked with a calm demeanor. "The dance of light and shadow evokes the essence of William's artistry." Ethan's eyes widened in astonishment. "Thank you, Mother," Victoria said as she turned to Emma. "Your impact on my son's artistic growth has been significant." "We shape one another," Emma responded calmly, holding Victoria's gaze unwaveringly. A subtle change flickered in Victoria's gaze, not entirely one of approval, but maybe a hint of respect. She surveyed the bustling gallery with a quick glance. The production seems to be thriving. Once she had moved on, Ethan gently grasped Emma's hand. "That could very well be the nearest semblance of a blessing we may ever receive." "I'll take it," Emma chuckled. As the evening unfolded, the last room of the exhibition stayed securely locked, adorned with a sign that teased a special reveal at 9 o'clock. Even Emma was unaware of Ethan's intentions for this space. He was adamant about handling the curation by himself. At 9, Ethan raised his glass to capture everyone's focus. "I appreciate everyone for being here this evening. Before we proceed to the last room, I'd like to take a moment to discuss the importance of boundaries." Silence fell over the crowd. When Emma and I embarked on this project, we believed we were capturing the divides between affluence and labor, between inclusion and isolation, between various perspectives. The identical city. What we found was that boundaries aren't barriers, but rather spaces for connection. Where different worlds converge, he pointed to the sealed door. The last chamber is referred to as convergence. It narrates our tale. As the door swung open, guests began to enter a room adorned with photographs, capturing the essence of Emma and Ethan's journey. From that initial rainy delivery day to their heartfelt reconciliation in Alaska, under the mesmerizing northern lights. Every image depicted a threshold being traversed, a separation being mended. At the heart of the room, a pedestal rose, supporting an unadorned picture frame, void of any image. Emma drew closer, a sense of bewilderment washing over her. "It's completely empty." "Since this moment remains unrecorded," Ethan remarked, his voice unexpectedly near her. As she pivoted, she found him on one knee, cradling a delicate velvet box. All at once, the gallery was enveloped in silence. "Emma Rodriguez," Ethan stated, his voice unwavering even with the feelings reflected in his gaze. "You showed me how to perceive the world in a new light, not merely through a camera lens, but through your perspective. This vacant canvas represents what lies ahead, open to interpretation, limitless, and free from constraints." As he lifted the lid of the box, a vintage ring emerged, showcasing a small yet flawless diamond that caught the light beautifully. "This was a cherished gift from my grandfather to my grandmother, two creative souls who built a life side by side. Would you do me the honor of becoming my spouse?" Emma sensed the weight of every gaze upon her. Victoria, James, Maya. The critics poised to capture this moment as a piece of performance art, and the collectors who perceived their love story as integral to the exhibition's worth. For the first time, she felt indifferent to the gaze of others. "Indeed," she replied with ease. "Absolutely, indeed." As Ethan gently placed the ring on her finger, the gallery burst into a chorus of applause. Even Victoria was discreetly wiping away tears, though she would later insist otherwise. As the evening drew to a close and the last of the guests departed, leaving them in the solitude of their exhibition, Ethan retrieved a Polaroid camera from his bag. He explained for the empty frame, drawing Emma nearer. The flash immortalized their moment of convergence, transcending the roles of courier and millionaire, revealing them as two souls who had traversed all boundaries to unite. 3 years had gone by since that memorable evening when Ethan made his proposal in the gallery. The morning sun poured through the bay windows of their Victorian home, bathing the breakfast table in a soft, golden glow. Emma carefully positioned 2-year-old Sophia in her high chair, as Ethan busied himself with preparing her morning oatmeal. Sophia insisted, her dark curls bouncing with enthusiasm as she pointed decisively at the fruit bowl, craving more bananas. What shall we express? Emma encouraged softly. More banana. Please, Daddy, Sophia said with a bright smile that radiated Ethan's charm. That's my champion. Ethan carefully placed another slice of banana onto her tray. The princess always achieves her desires. Emma gave a playful eye roll. Refrain from referring to her as princess. We reached a consensus. All right. The emerging photography talent achieves her desires. He cast a playful wink at Emma, his gaze slipping past their daughter's head. Their residence had evolved significantly over time, with the lower level now serving as the Horizons Gallery, highlighting the work of emerging artists from marginalized communities. The second floor served as their living area, while the third transformed into studios, one for Emma, one for Ethan, and a cozy nook gradually filling with toddler-sized art supplies for Sophia. Maya swept in through the back door unannounced, with James trailing behind her. 3 years of managing the gallery side by side had transformed their initial spark into a deep and genuine connection. Good morning, Rodriguez Blackwoods, Maya announced, placing a bag of freshly baked pastries on the counter. Are you prepared for the momentous occasion? Today heralded the launch of their 10th exhibition, a celebration of emerging photographers they have been guiding through their Foundation for Arts Education in Underprivileged Schools. The initiative originated from Emma's vision, yet unexpectedly, Victoria emerged as its most ardent advocate, leveraging her network to obtain funding and enhance its profile. Almost, Emma replied, gently wiping the oatmeal from Sophia's chin. I just have to wrap up the welcome speech and get the little one ready. I can handle munchkin duty, James said, as he lifted Sophia from her high chair. We should definitely hone our skills as gallery directors, right, Soph? As James led Sophia to get ready, Maya started to artfully arrange pastries on a platter for the grand opening. Ethan mentioned that your mother called. She's rescheduling the Henderson Foundation representatives to arrive at 11 instead of noon due to their timetable. Ethan nodded, his expression revealing no hint of surprise. Victoria's evolution from adversary to companion was a slow yet impactful journey. She might not exude warmth and affection, yet her deep respect for their efforts and her clear love for her granddaughter had fostered an unexpected sense of tranquility among them. Emma quietly made her way to their bedroom to complete her preparations. On her dresser rested a framed Polaroid, the one Ethan had captured on the night of their engagement. Next to it was the exhibition catalog from Boundaries Crossed, which ultimately traveled to 3 additional cities. She ran her fingers along the title, recalling the fear that had gripped her at the thought of stepping from her world into his. Now they inhabited a realm of their own creation, not flawless, frequently tumultuous, but unmistakably theirs. Ethan stepped into the room, adjusting his collar with a practiced ease. What's on your mind? As thoughts of boundaries swirled in her mind, Emma turned to face him, her expression contemplative. Recall the fear I felt about our differences and whether we could truly make it work. You weren't completely mistaken, Ethan remarked, moving across the room to grasp her hands. We stood apart. We remain so. That's the essence of our collaboration. Emma nestled into his embrace, relishing the stillness before the whirlwind of their day unfolded. From downstairs, Sophia's joyful laughter echoed as James kept her amused, while Maya's voice rang out with important exhibition details they had to keep in mind. Do you ever long for the mansion? Emma inquired abruptly. The exquisite marble floors and breathtaking million-dollar view? Ethan chuckled heartily. Not for a moment, even though I still long for that yellow backpack of yours. Whatever became of it? Emma confessed. It's in Sophia's closet. I imagined that as she grows older, she may wish to take it along on her own journeys. The creak of the gallery door opening downstairs heralded the arrival of the young photographers, buzzing with anticipation for those final tweaks before their first showcase. When it comes to adventures, Ethan remarked, gently pressing a kiss to her forehead. Shall we proceed? Side by side, they descended to the gallery that represented their shared passion, a realm where skill eclipsed origin, where limits were meant to be transcended, and where a bike courier and a millionaire had forged something neither could have achieved alone. Constructed in solitude. Upon arriving at the foot of the stairs, Sophia wriggled out of James's grasp and dashed towards them, a toy camera firmly held in her small hands. Picture, picture, she insisted, directing it toward her parents. Emma and Ethan stood together, arms entwined, while their daughter playfully mimicked the act of capturing the moment. That was a flawless shot, darling, Emma remarked. Indeed, it was.